welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and we are back for Vlogmas Day 6. There's not a huge amount of festive stuff going on today. I have a couple of festive prep things to do, but they're not very exciting. I am going to collect James's suit from the dry cleaners. It's his work's Christmas party on Saturday. And we have to get dressed up, which is not my favourite thing, but it only happens once a year, so I can cope with that. So I've got that to do at some point today. I'm also hoping that James will be able to try it on his beagle. It's been drying in the bathroom for the last few days and it seems to be pretty dry to me this morning. So I'm hoping he'll be able to try that on to see if it has stretched that all important extra inch that we need it to grow. I measured it flat and it does seem to have grown exactly 1 inch. But obviously once it's got a body inside, it might not be quite the right length still. So keep your fingers crossed for me, because I'm hoping it will be, because it will save me a lot of time and effort if it has grown to a length that he's happy with. Other than that, what have we got going on today? I thought I'd sit in front of the Christmas tree, but it's not really working because the light's blowing out that side, then you've got the big black screen of TV death on the other side, but I'm just going to go with it because I can't be bothered to get back up off the floor and find somewhere else where the light's better. Sorry, I'm feeling lazy this morning. So I've got 2 groups in the shop this morning, so that should keep me busy all day. Oh, I had a couple of questions on yesterday's Vlogmas video. The first one was what yarn was I working on for the cowl, and that is Cerdar Alpine yarn, which is the sort of fake fur. It's so soft and squishy. There's nothing natural about it though, so if you like to work with natural yarns, then it won't be one for you, but it's nice to work with and it is really soft. So yeah, there's that. And the second question I had was, did I have any tips for picking up stitches? I don't know that I have any tips as such, but I can tell you how I pick up my stitches. So I guess the most important thing, I think, is to be consistent. So whatever you start to do, continue to do. I have people picking up stitches and sewing up garments are probably 2 of the things that I get asked most often about in the shop. People coming back with projects because they're not happy with how things are going. So I often see people have started like picking up stitches on the edge and then they skip into the first row in and it just sort of makes things look really untidy. So first tip or first suggestion is just to be consistent. I always try and pick up the very edge of my knitting and I usually go through 2 strands of a stitch. And I find that looks pretty neat and tidy. The difficulty can sometimes come, I find, when you're picking up stitches where you might have increased or decreased, because you can get sort of like some really uneven stitches, particularly on the decrease edges for necklines. So often for those, I sort of let the stitch tell me what it wants to do. So if I try and pick up the sort of 2 strands of the stitch and it's going to leave a big gap, I'll try just picking up either the front leg or the back leg and then knitting into the back of the stitch. And sometimes it's a bit of trial and error to see which one looks the best, but I find that can help neaten up a picked up edge. I also, if I've got a lot of stitches to pick up, I will mark, what am I trying to say? I'll mark along the edges of where the stitches need to be picked up. So if I'm knitting a cardigan and I know I've got to pick up, I don't know, 100 stitches, then I will get a pin and fold my garment in half and mark the halfway point and sometimes even the quarter point, depending on how big a row of stitches it is to be picked up. That way, as I say, if I've marked each quarter, if I need to pick up 100 stitches, I get to the first pin and know that I should have 25 stitches or thereabouts at that point. So that just helps me get a relatively even number of pickup stitches. If I have reached that point and I'm 1 or 2 stitches out, then I don't really worry about it and I might pick up where stitches want to be picked up and then on the first sort of knit row or rib or whatever it is that you're going to do, I just increase. So if I've got to my quarter marker, for instance, and I've only managed to find space for 24 stitches, then I will increase 1 stitch in that section on the first knit row. I think that's probably it. There's no sort of magic, and as I say, not really tips as such, just what I do. And I usually get a relatively neat sort of pick up edge. I am wearing my Angelica today, which required pick up stitches here and on the sleeves, and yeah, I think I get a pretty neat result through employing those sorts of techniques. And worst case scenario, if you end up, particularly on these bits where you've got the sort of sloping neckline, if you end up with a gap or two, then you've got ends to weave in. So worst case scenario is you can put a stitch or two over the back to close up anything that is gappy. I don't have to do that very often, but every now and then, if needs be, then that seems to neaten things up and work okay too. So yeah, just be consistent, try and divide the edge where you're picking up, so you know roughly how many stitches should be at various points, and if you're not getting a very neat edge, try twisting the stitches, so picking them up and knitting them in the back, because that can sometimes neaten things up too. So I hope that helps, but if there's any other comments, or if you guys out there have got tips on brilliant ways to pick up stitches, then please put them in the comments below, because I'm sure we would all love to share that knowledge, and it's something that, you know, people often struggle with, so the more insight that we have and the more tips that people can provide, the better. This community is great for helping and sharing, so yeah, leave comments below if you have any suggestions. Right, I think I will leave it there. I need to get my day underway, so time for me to head into the shop and get things set up for our group this morning. Already my plans for the day changed somewhat. I was hoping to go and pick up the dry cleaning on my way in this morning, but then I checked my emails and I was down for an early delivery. So I had to come into the shop earlier, which meant I didn't have time, so I'll have to do that after work. But my parcel has arrived nice and early, and the thing I'm most excited about is I am restocked with these lovely sparkle yarns from Opal. I've had, sorry about the shine on the plastic, but I've had these 3 colours in the shop before, but I swapped out a couple of the ones that I'd ordered before, and I've now got this blue, green and red with also some purple, and then this really fun bright yellows, reds, greens in stock. They flew out last time I had those in, so I'm going to need to put those in a little basket and get them on the table and hope the same happens again. Look at those, aren't they gorgeous? I love that one. Love that one. But they're all really pretty, and the sparkle's showing up quite well on the camera this morning. It's 5:30, I have just arrived home, went to pick up James's suit from the dry cleaner on the way home. Nothing really much exciting happened in the shop today. We had our groups, but it was fairly quiet in terms of customers and visitors apart from that. But I have arrived home to excitingly find that this month's installation of the Bird and Blend Tea Club has arrived. So I am excited to open this up and find out what flavours they have sent. So I've opened up my package, and this is the artwork that accompanies the tea this month. And I have got 3 teas to try, as always. I've got mulled cider, figgy pud, and eggnog. So yeah, I'm excited to give these a go, and I'm sure I will over the coming days, and I'll let you know what I think. No exciting plans for the rest of the evening. Oh, I'm actually quite tired after last night's meal out shenanigans. I'm still feeling really full today. Hasn't stopped me eating a chocolate here and there. But yeah, should be a nice quiet evening in. I'm going to work on my pumpkin pie socks until James comes home, and then I'm going to work on the sleeves of his jumper. I also need to get him to try it on, the jumper now it's blocked. So keeping my fingers crossed on that one.